I'm afraid the sun has come out. I'm hoping that it's not going to be the end of the world. Hello and welcome to an AVForums short video overview of the Sennheiser HDB 630 noise cancelling wireless headphone. My name is Ed Selly, I'm the Hi-Fi editor for AVForums. Not too long ago I did a video of the Bowers & Wilkins PX8 S2 headphone, compared it to the PX7 S3 headphone. And one comment that cropped up more than once was, are you going to look at the Sennheiser HDB 630? And the answer is yes. Yes, we are. There's already a written review on the site. There is a lot of video on the Sennheiser already. It is, and let's not beat around the bush here, a hugely significant product. I need to be very clear that my perception of this headphone is not exactly the same as some of the other ones doing the rounds online. I think this is a sensational product, and I'll explain why I think it's sensational. I don't think it's perfect, and I think there are some areas where the competition actually still retains an advantage over it. I'm going to try and explain that in as level-headed and as calm a way as you can. I've got my most serious brown jumper on to emphasise this point, and at the end of it you can either disagree with me vigorously in the comments, whatever, or you can go, you might have a point, or go on your way rejoicing. We'll see how we go. Right, first things first, £400. It takes hardware from the Momentum 4 wireless headphone, which is £250. This includes 42mm dynamic drivers, which are made of a material that Sennheiser will not tell you anything about. There is, I've done a lot of searching, I did some asking, not prepared to be drawn on it. 42mm is ever so slightly larger than the sort of consensus average for these things, but not unduly so. You also get a 60-hour battery life, and again, that's like so many of the headphones we've been testing recently, that is not a work of fiction. It does appear to be genuinely attainable in use, and that is a lot. These are all very likeable things. At this point, we're going to stop talking about that, because in some ways it's less important than some of the other things that Sennheiser has done, and we'll return to some of those parts in due course because they are important. The HDB 630's killer app, well actually there are two killer apps, I think it's fair to say. The first is that inclusive in your £400 or euro equivalent or dollar equivalent is a Bluetooth dongle, USB-C, which can be used with smartphones, laptops. I even actually managed to successfully get it working with no LED television. What it does is ensure that this headphone will communicate at the highest possible Bluetooth rate, as opposed to simply going for best fit. Now with Android, best fit's usually pretty good. However, I have now moved over to the iPhone Fold, as have a disproportionate number of people buying high-end smartphones. That's not quite so good. This is AAC Bluetooth compatible and it sounds perfectly decent judged by the standards of AAC, but it's a huge drop in available bandwidth. By using the dongle, essentially you get the scope to get a level of Bluetooth performance out of an iOS device, which just simply isn't the case any other way. It makes a difference to an extent where I've stated in the written review that no other headphone has an advantage over this one in a wireless sense if you give this one its dongle and you make sure the other one's simply using the internal Bluetooth on an iPhone. Not the PX7 S3, not the PX8 S2. Bathurst is long since gone, but I don't think it's going to have an advantage either. The gap in bandwidth that it has is too large to ignore. Then, with that advantage in place, the app that this headphone comes with is extremely good to begin with. Buried within that is an adjustable EQ system, which is class leading. There's no getting around it. It is the best of its kind, and it's the best of its kind not only because it allows a scope and range of adjustments that are beyond any of its rivals, but it allows for fine adjustment, which is a bit of a faff, even on a relatively large phone screen, but you're not going to be doing it day in, day out. So there's still very, very good levels of fine adjustment. And it's incredibly easy to do. It means that if you have an inkling of what it is you want to achieve, It's extremely easy to achieve it. And the app itself is genuinely impressive. It doesn't require logins. It's seamless. The robotic lady that talks to you through the headset of these, I mean, she sounds angrier than I remember on previous Sennheiser products, but it's still deeply impressive. All of these bits are really exceptionally good. And in the case of the EQ, there's nothing to touch it. If you like, the doors are open and the Sennheiser has a clear route to the finish and to finish first. Here's where things get subjective and a little bit more complicated. There have been points when I've been using these where it is fairly clear when I tested against the competition. The Bose is still here, the notes for the Sony, so on and so forth. You can feel and hear where some of the price gap comes. Now, if you level the playing field with these products, either by using the Sennheiser over USB in the same way you can use the PX7, or by using the Sennheiser's Bluetooth dongle, which is available on its own. I'm not doing something which would require you to buy the Sennheiser headphone to do. The performance gaps begin to narrow very, very rapidly. And when it comes down to it, that tremendously clever EQ, you can get close enough with the comparatively bog basic EQs on some of its rivals that their hardware advantages do start to make themselves felt. Nothing I have been able to do in terms of software adjustment to the Sennheiser has me feeling that it has better, cleaner, more controlled, more detailed bass than the Bose and Wilkins, for example. And there are other points of subjective pickup where this isn't necessarily what the line on the graph is doing, it's down to what the drivers are doing, and so on and so forth. There's a couple of other issues as well. Despite the fact that the enclosure in the headphone is larger than the Bose and Wilkins, this actual space where your ear goes is smaller. Now, I don't have particularly large ears, so it's not been too much of an issue for me, but comments online from people who are more equipped on that side of their head suggest that it can feel a bit constrictive. I also feel that Sennheiser has gone with this is a serious hi-fi product, let's make it look like a serious hi-fi product. The Momentum 4 comes in some really nice and interesting finishes. There's nothing to say that you can't take performance very seriously and also have some headphones in some interesting colours as well. It hasn't prevented any of Sennheiser's rivals from producing a headphone which is available in slightly less sombre sort of tones. Another thing, and this is something that Sennheiser's been doing for a decade, this has got touch sensors on it and they're incredibly flexible. I mean, there's part of the recording of the app, I've shown you all the different things that it's technically possible to make the touch sensors do. Is it actually as nice to set buttons to do just the features that you do day in, day out? No, I'm sorry, I don't think it is. They're too easy to snag, to do something accidentally. You can't always get the command that you want to happen. At least I can't. I'm sure it's the sort of thing where if you live with them day in, day out, you get a bit better at it. But I don't feel it's as intuitive as what some key rivals are doing. Because the headphone is larger, this case is larger as well. Now, depending on your use philosophy for these things, that may not matter. But again, if you are traveling and you are at the mercy of airlines who are demanding their pound of flesh for baggage in this day and age, you might find that that matters as well. Now, essentially, I've just reeled off a list of gripes, and it comes down to you to decide how much this matters, because I know for a subset of people, knowing that the response line is in a certain way and they've been able to tweak it a certain way matters more than anything else I've been whittering on about. My point is that to live with, and then actually once you've stopped messing with the EQ, to sit and listen to, this isn't quite the slam dunk that some reviews seem to perceive that it is, and I just don't necessarily feel exactly the same way. This is a hugely subjective thing, and I haven't wheeled out any measurements on this. I've, butchered the EQ on part of the screen recording and so on and so forth, but that's not how I've actually been listening to them. I've done more considered takes on that. At the end of the day, like I said right at the beginning, I think this is a phenomenal product. I just feel it potentially could have been fractionally better. And on that note, it's worth pointing out that if Sennheiser were to take this platform and then have a crack at the over £500 market, heading towards £1,000, there's every possibility that that product could be truly monumental. So I feel that this could best be seen as a work in progress. This is a proof of concept and it works exceptionally well. I feel it could work ever so slightly better. Now, there's a written review that's already on the site. It covers a few more details off. It expands on some of the comparison points that I've been making. But otherwise, if you've enjoyed this review, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. There will be more content. Well, we'll see how we get on next time. Thanks ever so much for watching, and goodbye.